Salam, hi, and a very good day to all the panels. So this video is about the presentation for MEC 601, which is my final year project one. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Muhammad Najmuddin bin Ahmad. My supervisor's name is Professor Madya Dr. Azanti binti Ismail, and my co-supervisor name is Muhammad Rizwan bin Sumsei Bahadu. And the title for my final year project is the improvement of the tire blocking system. So before we go through further, this slide presentation covered about 5 chapters, which are literature review on various systems and forces contact to the vehicles. Second is the problem statement and the objectives of the project. Next is the comparison between design tire killers and other two types of tire killers by using path chart. Next is the design process and analysis used, and the last one is the expected result of the project design. Moving on to the project summary. So the improvement of the tire blocking system is about the tire killers in Jabatan Pengairan dan Saliran JPS, which located at Panji, Kelantan, that can be improvised or enhanced in terms of efficiency by changing the design and the mechanism of the system. Next, although the current design is very effective and interesting, the mechanism potentially can be damaged and can be extremely dangerous not only to criminals but also to the vehicles involved with JPS. And the proposed design of tire blocking system is following the requirement of JPS, which will be used only at JPS entrance. Next slide is the introduction of the tire blocking system. So the tire block or the tire killer is basically a machine or a device that can control one-way traffic. So it is commonly used for approaching highly secure places such as banks, military bases, airports, and government offices. It is because of it provides excellent protection against the unlawful entrance or exit of hostile vehicles. So next, if a vehicle attempts to break through, its tires and/or axles will be damaged. After the vehicle has passed, the teeth return to its position where it will stay in the housing until the switch on button is turned on. And next, and the main purpose of this project is to puncture and break the tires of the unauthorized vehicles. Moving to the literature review, in this chapter, based on the research made from a few journals and articles on the website, there are several points which related to my final year project. So the first point is the barrier system. According to Jones, Shaw and Blas in 2020, they investigated the usage of surface-mounted barrier systems erected atop an existing raised structural slab is one unique and widespread variation. Through these barrier types eliminates the requirement for a deep foundation, there is still a strong expectation that the barrier is still continually maintained by the earth beneath. Next is, according to Ellison and Broca in 2014, they stated that after determining the threat, a site evaluation should be performed to determine achievable impact angles and approach speeds, followed by the selection of the appropriate barrier system capable of stopping this moving threat at the required location. The next point is the forces contact to the vehicles. So according to Sarma and Tuan in 2011, they discovered once the vehicle surface collide with a barrier, contact force calculation based on rigid body dynamics are no longer applicable because the vehicle body is made up of numerous closely spaced vertices. More than one vertex may collide with the barrier at the same time. And the next is from Woodson in 2020, explored the field expedient non-lethal vehicle arresting barrier (FENVAB) was constructed without anchoring to absorb the kinetic energy of the aggressor vehicle and convert it to a frictional energy by forcing the vehicle to slide once it hits the barrier. Furthermore, this barrier design uses just basic steel components and necessitates little engineering assistance, equipment, or specialist tools. So moving on to the problem statement and the objectives of the projects. So the first point for the problem statement is about the design of the tire block. So in order to improve the security system in JPS compound, the design must be suitable for the JPS entrance and types of vehicles that are regularly entering the compound. Along with the material use, must be high in toughness and durability in order to let the vehicle cross over well and safely without breaking the proposed system. And the objectives are to design a system that can help to solve the problem of vehicle theft from a secure compound, and also to analyze toughness of system design using simulation via CATIA or SolidWorks software. Next is the scope and the limitation of the project. So the scope is more focusing on the JPS entrance, which serves as the primary point for controlling vehicle movement, entering and departing the compound. As for the limitation, the project still requires skills and experience in order to do the fabrication process. And the lack of skills during the fabrication process can break the components of the product and will be unsuccessful to apply the proposed project. Next is about the methodology section. For the first point, we will take a look at the construction of the path chart. As you can see, the path chart is about the comparisons between three optional designs, which are hydraulic tire killers as design 1, mechanical tire killers as design 2, and surface mount mechanical tire killers as design 3, and the electromechanical tire killers as the datum of those designs. So after the discussion made, the design 3 was chosen due to its repairability and durability. And of course, it has the highest net score, which is 7 compared to others. Moving on to the next point of methodology section, which is the design process and analysis. As you can see, these are the sketches for the design tree earlier, which show the top view, side view, and isometric view along with its dimension. So based on the sketches, the determined length is 4000 in millimeters and also 4 in meters unit, while the height of the body case and spike teeth are 80 millimeters and 60 millimeters. And for the width measures is 830 millimeters. So all these dimensions are mostly determined by current market standards except for the length, because it has to be suitable dimension for JPS entry as well as the vehicles involved. So next is the last point for methodology section, which is apply stress analysis on the body part design. So figure A showed the displacement of the design, where it demonstrating how far the design may bend or deflect when forces acting on it, and since the part have no critical stress, there is no change occur. As for figure B, it shows how much forces may be applied and where the forces are applied. As illustrated, the stress analysis used the von Mises stress to compare it to the yield strength of the design material. And the material used for this design is stainless steel, which can withstand 20,000 Newton of stress without causing harm to the part. And actually, 20 kilonewton of stress is based on the weight of vehicle involved in JPS and loads carried when traversing the tire block. So next is for expected results. So the vehicles will be able to cross over the design tire killers based on the results of the stress analysis. So the spike teeth can take more forces from the vehicle's tire when it pops up. And the material used for body parts, which is steel, can accommodate well the forces without any problems. So next is about my future project planning. So the process will be continued in the following stage by revising the design aspects that still need to be improved in order to get new design and accomplish the objectives of the project. And the next step is also to assess the new design specification and the fabrication cost. And as the conclusion of my project, which is tire blocking system, so the most commonly used design is hydraulic tire killers, because the hydraulic tire killer design has the barriers which can block any vehicles from crossing over. Next is the spike teeth must be made up with heavy-duty materials in order to increase the security system efficiently. And the inventor of the design will not be responsible for any consequences that cause injury or death to the drivers. The drivers should know the risk taken if they insist on crossing the barriers that have sharp spikes on top. Next is the references. So these are the 4 references that I chose at the literature review section earlier. So the last slide of my presentation is about the Gantt chart, which contains my planning activities with blue painted on the chart that covered from starting day of final year project 1 until the last day of final year project 2. I think that's all from me. So if you have any question regarding to my final year project 1, please don't hesitate to contact me at my email address and phone number stated on this slide. I'll leave the comments below. So stay safe and thank you.